All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, fellow Pandemonium travelers. This is Seattle Pandemonium Shutdown Day 369. Nice. So what's happening? What's happalating? What's going down? We've got traffic. And I've heard that allegedly there are traffic complaints all over the country, which, as I've said repeatedly, is actually a good thing. Because in the before times, we had terrible traffic, especially here in Seattle. I've driven in many major cities at this point, and Seattle has a uniquely awful traffic situation. Partially because of geography, partially because the city planners all hated each other and couldn't agree on a street layout system. So now we have these bizarre patchwork intersections and weird intersecting street grids and all this nonsense. Then you have terrible drivers, which, by the way, Seattle drivers, a lot of you are just terrible. Just the worst. I've documented some of your behavior right here on this very program. What's going on? I don't know. I hate to just repeat myself because it feels like I'm oftentimes just repeating myself. We're attempting to do a gun control again. Is it HR 1 or is it HR 8 House Resolution? They're talking about restricting online sales of guns or something like that, and I have to go back to, let's go back to last year. Now that the George Floyd trial, or rather the Derek Chauvin trial, is going forward, I think it's worthwhile to kind of revisit some of this stuff because of the nature of what happened in this country last year. So, apparently, George Floyd swallowed drugs. He swallowed fentanyl and methamphetamine. Now, that is an upper and a downer. You're not supposed to mix uppers and downers because it can cause heart failure, which is basically what happened. My understanding is that the officer's knee on his neck was not restricting his ability to breathe. There was no damage to his respiratory tract, is my understanding. Maybe I'm wrong. That's what it seems as though general agreement is, and people have stated. That being said, the video, even I saw it at the time. I saw it breaking very early before it really spread around, and I was just like, oh no, I said. People were like, well, wait for the full clip, wait for more context. I was like, I don't know how more context makes this any better because of just how it looks, right? And feelings don't care about your facts is very true, especially when the narrative being constructed fits with a sort of self-righteousness. So last summer, it was actually my birthday was the day that everything really popped off, if I'm remembering correctly. Happy birthday, Kyle. Everyone sent a snuff film to each other and then got all upset. And then they rioted. Now, some portion of the rioting was legitimately just protesting. I even accept some of the rioting as, no, we're going to make this costly so that you pay attention. And then there's just people looting the Old Navy. I get it. You're mad at the police. And you're attacking the police station. You're attacking City Hall. I get it. So you go and loot Nike Town? Even after they backed Kaepernick with the taking the knee and all this other stuff? So no, some portion of it was just opportunistic stealing and arson. What I'm saying is some of you are just monsters, okay? In all this chaos, people killed each other. Man, look how far from the light we are today. It's also a sunny day in Seattle, so that means there's going to be a lot of traffic. People going places, and it's right before the weekend. And who were those people? The McCluskeys. You remember them? They, what was that, Atlanta or something like that? And the angry mob, like, broke through a door and came into, like, the gated community because they were going to the mayor's house, which was in the same neighborhood. And the McCluskeys, the man and the wife, came out with their guns and brandished them at the crowd. Well, look, I've covered this in this program before, which is millions and millions of new gun owners were created last year, partially due to this chaos, okay? People realized if we're gonna defund the police, okay, then who's gonna protect me? Well, I'm going to protect me. With what? A butter knife? No. I want an AR-15 with the biggest magazine you possibly have and as much ammo as possible. I mean, that's like quite literally what everybody's thought process was. What are you doing? And so there is a creepy story going around, and it's there's an unsettling news narrative being put out where all these different localities have the same news story targeted at them about how mass shootings are on the rise. Like, you live in Ohio, it says in Ohio, mass shootings are on the rise. If you live in New York, mass shootings are on the rise. Mass shootings are on the rise. And it's the same language. It's literally the same words in the paragraphs with just the locality changed. And it's part of a push to push through gun control while everyone's, off kilter and everyone's scared and they're being told, oh, look at this surge in crime. It's because of the guns. So let's get rid of the guns. So we're at something like an impasse here, okay? I want people to fully understand this. I have a Somali coworker who escaped the Somali Civil War. Black Hawk Down and all that. He said defunding the police is a terrible idea because when they took away the police, that's when the Civil War started. Why? Because once you have there's no accountability or legality, essentially, you then descend to the level of mere thuggery, and then the most thuggish group will take control, and then you have to join a militia of some kind. You have to join a team because you can't go it alone. So you are then forced to join one of these essentially lawless groups, and factions form, and then they fight for dominance over resources within cities. The water, the power, sewer, the streets. You can't go over there. Okay? We control the highway. You can't go on the highway because our team controls it. You don't want this. This is very bad. And again, so I'm going to protect myself because if I call the police, they're going to take forever to get there, or they're not going to come at all. And in cities like San Francisco, Seattle, they will ask you what the property value was that was stolen when you call them because someone stole something. And if it is below a certain cap, they will not respond. They'll be like, doesn't cut the mustard, doesn't meet the requirement. So Never mind somebody stealing some chapstick from the drugstore. What about your personal safety? What about the safety of your neighborhood? Whose responsibility is that then? Yours. With what? A baseball bat? Criminals are going to have guns. Like, guys, like, passing feel-good legislation about guns because Hollywood has shown you that they're scary. They're scary black rifles and used by domestic terrorists, except in January at the Capitol. Like, no one had any guns. There's no weapons were seized. So, nice insurrection, guys. But you can't just simply say, well, let's ban this type of gun. There's all these different types of guns. Oh my God. What in the world is that? Oh. What's going on? That is a crane, all right. Are you... What is going on? Gun control. There are all kinds of weapons that have similar capabilities to other weapons. So you can have an AR-15 with a wood stock and a 5-round magazine. Is that a hunting rifle? Now what's going on? Uh-oh. It's just chaos out here in the streets. We got cranes driving around, all kind of ambulances and stuff. When will the madness end? No, feel-good legislation about, well, we're taking these scary weapons away, or we're stopping people. Criminals will have guns. Oh, by the way, if you don't know, now you know, what are called garbage guns are completely legal. What that means is I can go to Home Depot, buy some pipes and things, and fit together a thing that when you put a bullet in it and then you pull a rubber band back and it has a thumbtack and you let it go and it hits the bullet and it goes bang. That's a firearm. That's legal. Why? Because it's completely unenforceable. There is literally no way to control a population of people and keep them from making a length of tube that you put a bullet in and make it go bang and it fires a projectile out the end. That genie was let out of the bottle, I don't know, 700-800 years ago. Okay? So you would have to regulate every tool and piece of pipe fitting and everything at like Home Depot. And so that's impossible. Bicycle shops, you can make a Sten gun from the parts in a bicycle shop. They were literally used by the resistance in like World War II, right? If you had a bicycle shop, you can make these guns. So people need to have a hard reality check about the reality of firearms. We can't afford for you to not know basic things about firearms because you want to go passing laws willy-nilly, and it's a constitutional right, okay? So I don't remember if I think I might be stealing this from Michael Malice because I don't actually have any original takes. It's, you want to talk about gun control? Okay, that's fine. I'm not interested in having a conversation about what rights the federal government can take from me. And that's the end of that discussion. Because there's no positive outcome to this conversation. The conversation you're trying to have is about the federal government restricting my constitutional rights. Apply this concept to literally any other right, and you will understand why people are alarmist about the 2A. Why would you want to accept this? Why would you want to, why would I want to engage in a conversation about depriving me of something that's already been restricted, I might add? The National Firearms Act is already an infringement on our Second Amendment rights, We've just become used to it, and that's actually one of the more frightening things about certain forms of legislation. You can own a firearm. You can own a machine gun. You can own artillery. You can own all this stuff if you pay for a tax stamp. That's basically how it goes. It's a tax stamp on owning a specific piece of, a specific weapon, like something like artillery or whatever. This is a regressive tax that keeps poor people from owning weapons. Fact. Okay? So something that was enacted, I think, because mafia, because the mob were running liquor and guns and killing each other everywhere. I think that's partially why it was enacted. I might be wrong. When did Prohibition end? I thought Prohibition ended in the late 20s. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But it's a regressive tax on lower income folks, let's say. Okay, I'm gonna have to make a power play here. I'm gonna have to do it. I don't want to follow this crane at a snail's pace up this hill. All right. Going off the beaten path here. Let's see how this works out. Let's go up here. Uh-oh. Gun control, garbage guns, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, no, what that crane moving means is that they finished building a building. Man, they were building some buildings here in Seattle over the last few years. There was just cranes everywhere. But yeah, no, they wanted to block. I remember Biden's website having a bunch of garbage about, banning the online sale of guns. And it's really, again, guys, it's really only people who don't understand how guns and gun sales work online, what accessories for guns are. Like, you can put a flashlight on a gun. That's actually a safety feature. It helps you see in the dark and look at your target so you don't accidentally shoot the wrong person, for example. They wanted to ban the online sale of accessories for guns, and it's there's just small businesses where they sell things like lights and sights and grips and all kind, and they sell storage accessories. Wow, imagine that. Secure storage facilities for guns. That's a gun accessory. So don't you want people to have easy access to gun storage devices? Of course you do. Why not? It's a good idea. So this perpetually misguided stuff of we're just going to ban guns. You can't. It's the Second Amendment. We're going to ban this specific gun. You can't because XYZ. It's the same thing. And so I'm wondering what these things are actually designed to do. Is it's designed to make people feel good about, make them feel like there's something happening, some common sense gun control. Oh, and by the way, once they defund the police, which I pointed out yesterday or the other day, that they're not going to lower your taxes, but also when people stop calling the police because the police don't come, they will say, look, the crime rates are down. Meanwhile, they won't be down, and you'll be out here trying to defend yourself with a butter knife. That's enough for me for Friday. Bye.